Hello YouTube, Millennium X17 here, and I've got, actually it's a weird video. I don't even really know what you would call this, categorize this video as. Actually, I wanted to talk about a very specific game in history here, for video gaming. In my opinion, it's one of the very best PlayStation 3 exclusive titles, and that is Valkyria Chronicles. It is second only to The Last of Us. I seriously think this is the second best game to ever come out to the PlayStation 3. I wanted to actually talk about the past, the present, and the future of this game. And furthermore, why I feel that Sega doesn't want to make money. But we'll get there. So, Valkyria Chronicles, for all those of you who don't know, it wouldn't surprise me if you didn't, because Sega botched the launch back when it came out, November 4th, 2008. So, Valkyria Chronicles, they call it a tactical RPG. It's really not. The best way to think of this game is a turn-based strategy game, similar to that of chess, but in a more militaristic sense. I've been told it's very similar to XCOM, which I honestly haven't tried at all, which is probably a shame on me. But Valkyria Chronicles, it's set in the 1930s, alternate history, World War II. You're in a country called Gallia. Is a country, and your country is nestled in between two warring collection of countries. You've got the Imperial Alliance, which is red, which is in the Russian state of the continent, and then the Federation, which is all in blue, which is supposed to represent Europe. It's a very parodying World War II type deal. And the game itself, you're in the militia, and you have to defend your country because there's an Imperial invasion in Gallia, and you come to find out that they're trying to find relics from the Valkyria, which is an ancient race that's supposed to have untold amounts of power, that they're trying to find it to use the Valkyria's power to take over basically the world. It's unlike any other game I've played, and it is very unique. Not only does it has anime-ish type character designs, but the art style itself is that of a watercolor painting in 3D in motion. No other game has done this. It's anime-ish in the fact that the character designs are inspired by, but it's beautiful. It's unlike any other game that I've played. And it looks that way because Sega developed a brand new engine for this game called the Canvas engine. And to my knowledge, I don't think that they've used it in any other game. I honestly don't know if they did or not, but it's unlike any other game before. And furthermore, it's a war game that it hits on the subject matter of racism, concentration camps, and genocide. Some seriously heavy subject matter, but yet it's rated T for teen. A game that hits on such heavy subject matter but doesn't rely on endless amounts of shooting, blood and guts, and non-stop explosions, unlike any modern military game that's come out since. So, that is why it's one of the best. Its story can be lighthearted at times, but it is definitely serious at the same time. It's unlike any other game I played, and it is a shame that Sega screwed the launch of this game up, which is why I wanted to talk about the past, the present, and the future of this franchise. Sega just announced that through a tweet is all they did to announce it, that they're porting this game to the PC. It is coming out November 11th, 2014. I looked it up. It is exactly 6 years and 1 week later that they're coming out with a port to this game. The reason why that is both good and bad, I will get to in this video. What I have to stress is that the disc version for the PS3 is the only variation of this game to come out thus far. They never put it out digitally on the PlayStation Network. Again, Sega doesn't feel like it's important to make money, which GameStop knew about it and was charging up until a few days ago when it was announced that the PC version is $20. They were charging $25 for a used copy of this game. And they could and did because it was worth that much. But the reason why this game, they botched the launch so bad. So what you have to understand is most people nowadays, given the speed at which the internet goes, you pretty much don't remember things. past a couple of months. You asked about Sony's rocky past with the PlayStation 3. A lot of people will remember the network breach. It'll be the first thing they come up with, which I believe was 2010, 2011? Something like that. I honestly didn't look that up beforehand. I'm pretty sure it was a couple years back, but that's what people remember. What people don't remember is that one of the first reasons why this game really was a financial success in Sega's eyes was that it was not quite a launch title, but was in the launch window, if you will. Back when the PlayStation 3 first came out, the console for a 20 gig model was $500. But then again, people know how fast that kind of a hard drive space fills up, so the 60 gig model was $600 at launch. And the PlayStation 3 launched November 2007. That's a lot of money. So not many people bought it at launch. It wasn't exactly a flop, but that was a lot to swallow. And it was mainly due to the fact that it had a Blu-ray player in it that would cost so much, which ultimately was a smart move on Sony's part, but it was definitely a slow build. This game came out a year later, November 4th, 2008. So the console it launches to exclusively to the PlayStation 3, disc only, never has been digitally available on the PlayStation platform, which is, in my opinion, is completely stupid. But a year later, not that many PlayStation 3s have come out. It's a new IP, and they launch it in the holiday release window. Now, anybody who knows the video game industry knows that is a time you want to avoid. You do not want to launch your game, especially a new IP, in the launch window unless you're confident it's going to be a financial success. Console exclusive on a console that doesn't have that many units out there yet, and it went up again. So, I looked this up. A week beforehand, October 28th, 2008, you had Command & Conquer 3, Red Alert, Fallout 3, not many people have heard about that one, Goosebumps, Horrorland, Little Big Planet, Motorstorm, Pacific Rift, and My Sims. That was the week before Valkyria Chronicles released, October 28th, 2008. The week it launched, November 4th, 2008, Legendary, Naruto, Ultimate Ninja Storm, Tom Clancy's End War, Resistance 2, Namco Virtual Arcade, Valkyria Chronicles. And then the following Friday, November 7th, was Gears of War 2. The following week, November 11th, 2008, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, Call of Duty World at War, Facebreaker, Mirror's Edge, WWE SmackDown Raw vs. Raw 2009. Continuing. Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, it was Lightsaber Duels and Jedi Alliance, two different games, on the same day, nonetheless. And Tecmo Bowie Kickoff. How many games? That was like 20, 25-something games in a 3-week period. And they launched a new IP amongst 25 other games. Now, the important thing, though, is that Little Big Planet, Motorstorm Pacific Rift, Naruto, Ultimate Ninja Storm, Resistance 2, and Valkyria Chronicles. 5 games in 2 weeks, all of which are PlayStation 3, if I face the game right, it'd be nice, PlayStation 3 exclusive only titles. And I even looked this up. Only Little Big Planet has only ever been other than PS3 discs. So the other 3, Motorstorm, Naruto, and Resistance 2, disc only PS3. Whether or not they went on digitally, I don't know, but they were only ever out for PS3. Little Big Planet went on to Vita and PSP and other platforms, but still, 5 games for your platform in 2 weeks? That's 5 games in 2 months might be too closely crushed together. But, 5 games in 2 weeks? That's insanity, But I didn't look this up, but I'd be willing to bet that just like this year, during the summertime, there's nothing. And then all of a sudden, everyone's got a release within the same month window. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, ultimately, the game flew under the radar. To no one's surprise. It shouldn't surprise anyone that this game flew under the radar. It blows my mind as to how, but yet then Sega deems it a financial failure, throws it to the side, and doesn't put it out on the PlayStation Network. GameStop, one of the GameStop's greatest fraudulent activities, is selling this game used for $25 for this entire time. Sega could have been making all that money. They didn't. People have been clamoring and talking about one of the most fantastic games for the PlayStation 3, to come back. People wanted it. And of course, the PlayStation 4 came out, and over the last year, stop and think. How many HD collections have there been? I mean, The Last of Us came out in what, 2013? Was it 2013? I think it might have been. And then 2014, it had an HD collection. It hadn't even been a year, and they were re-releasing it yet. There's at least a dozen or so HD collections that I can think of. And I can think of, if anything else, the one game that deserves an HD collection more than anything else was right here. And it just never happened. This game, according to Sega, did so poorly here that the sequel came out to the PSP, which is a slow death. Obviously, the PSP version did so well, the third Valkyria Chronicles didn't even come out here in the States, on the North American side. It's Japan only, I believe, is where the only region it came out in. That is insane. One of the best, most unique games to come out, and they damn it, because they weren't smart enough to realize a new IP releasing against 20-something other games in a month's time span isn't a good idea. Never came out digitally. They've not been making money on it at all. They've pretty much sat on their ass with this IP and screwed it. You know, it's so unfortunate. So then, of course, they tweet out a little while ago, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago now, that they tweeted out that Gallia to Arms, we're porting it to PC, you know. And I'm like, at the first time I was like, yes! This is the greatest news ever! But then they announced that the release date is November 11th, 2014. 6 years, 1 week to the day that they launched this one in the middle of a huge gaming release. They're doing it again. They haven't learned anything. I don't know, do they have Alzheimer's? It can't be the same people at Sega 6 years later making the same decisions. People have been clamoring for this to come back out. HD collection. We want an HD collection on the PlayStation 4 at the very least, if not all consoles. There's no reason for not to come out on every console, but the PlayStation 4 at the very least, to have all three Valkyria Chronicles on the same disc, improved to the HD. You add a couple more skirmish battles here and there, but why not? But no, they're going to port it straight to PC, which that in of itself is a huge can of worms. Nobody knows if the port's going to be any good. I've already purchased it. I've already pre-purchased the game. It doesn't matter. I've played this game so many times that I can pretty much recite to you all the hard battles by memory and exactly what to do to beat them. To me, to someone who's new, this game is pretty difficult. I've played it so many times, I just know each and every map. Even Maximilian's tank, the what's-his-face Jaeger's battle at the very end of the game, doesn't matter. I know it all so well that I could just beat it. First, you go onto YouTube and you look at videos for this, and there's not many people doing playthroughs of this. And it's just unfortunate because I know for a fact that I could do a first-time playthrough, not a New Game Plus, which is what most of the footage on YouTube is. I could do a first-game playthrough of this game and just crush it. I know I can because I've done it so many times. But it's just unbelievable. This year, get ready for this. Tomorrow, depending on when this video goes up, it might go up on November 4th. So maybe, say today, November 4th, 2014, you have BioShock Infinite Complete Edition, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Citizens of Earth, Harvest Moon, The Lost Valley, MotoGP 14, Planes, Fire and Rescue, Rocksmith 2014 for the next-gen consoles, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, and The Wolf Among Us. Next week, November 11th, 2014, you have Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed Unity, Digimon All-Star Battle Rumble, Halo the Master Chief Collection, Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham, Senran Kagura Bon Appetit, Shape Up, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric, Sonic Boom, Shattered Crystal, Tales of Hearts R, Toy Box, Turbos, Tropico 5, and Valkyria Chronicles on PC. The week thereafter, November 18th, 2014, Adventure Time, The Secret of the Nameless Kingdom, Company of Heroes 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, Escape Dead Island, Far Cry 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, Next Gen, Hatsune Miku Project Diva F 2nd, Little Big Planet 3, Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor, Never Alone, Watch Dogs on Wii U, WWE 2K15. That's deja vu all over again. Mostly because to me, it's kind of almost poetic that Little Big Planet 3. That's how long it's taken Sega to do anything with one of the best games to come out to the PlayStation 3. It came out a week away from the first Little Big Planet, and now 6 years plus years later, it's coming out a week away from its third sequel. And it's a PC port that's gotten little to no advertising whatsoever. And that worries me, because even though for $20, that is a steal. You're getting one of the best games to come out over the last couple of years for $20. That's akin to almost buying like Skyrim or Fallout for $20. It's that good. You know, it's one of the best games that I held. It's in my top 5 best games of all time, which I don't think I've ever done that list, but it doesn't matter. It's definitely on that list. And yet, there's no advertisement. It's a PC port. It's out on Steam. If you didn't see the tweet, or you didn't see a couple of the articles that came out in conjunction with that, then you just... I worry that now, whether or not we ever get a HD collection of this game hinges on the fact of whether or not now the PC port has to now do financially well. I just know it's going to get left behind. Again, they haven't learned anything. And that's just, to me, sad for one of the best games that's ever come out. I love this game. I know I've already bought it. I'm going to play it 100 times on PC. But whether we may never get an HD collection because Sega doesn't want to make money. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. So, if you ever listen to me at all, if you never listened to me before, you never listen to me again, go to this game's Steam store page. I'm probably going to insert the link somewhere in here. Check it out. I don't know if it's getting a demo or not. It probably wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me. They're probably going to do a cheap port, which, again, worries me. But we have to put the word out that this game is not only coming to PC, but is also fantastic. It is one of the best experiences that you will have. It was overlooked when it came out 6 years ago, and it will most undoubtedly be overlooked today, this time, in present day, when it gets ported to PC. The first time that Sega's even acknowledged that it's existed, less than a half dozen times they've even acknowledged in present time that it's existed. You know, I think they've taken some of the characters and put it in a different fighting game this year, but other than that, there's been nothing. And it's just, that makes me sad, because if you have a PlayStation 3 and you never played this game, you are missing out. You are missing out. And now that it's coming to PC gamers, you have no excuse. It is one of the most fantastic games that you will ever play. It is unique. It is a serious storyline. Some people can always nitpick, but that, again, that's the internet. It's to be expected. I love this game, and it upsets me that, you know, a company just still doesn't get the fact that releasing a new IP in the holiday season, when just 3 months ago, July? There was nothing in July, but nope, let's put it out November 11th, right square in the middle of the holiday release schedule's anus. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's frustrating. I've already bought it. I will play it. You know, again, the only thing I'm worried about is how quick and cheap of a PC port is it really going to be. But, you know, time will tell on that. I am definitely going to buy it. I've already have. I'm definitely going to play it, and I know I'm going to love it, because that game is fantastic, and it has to succeed so that one day eventually we can get an HD collection with all 3 on one disc for the PlayStation 4, or, you know, whatever, PlayStation 5, or whenever Sega decides to pull their thumb out of their ass again and actually do something with it. But either which way, that is the past, present, and future of what I feel is one of the best games on the PlayStation 3, definitely, and also one of the best games ever made. So, thank you all for listening, and until next time, guys, have yourselves a good day.